One Zambia, One Nation. Thank you so much for joining us on the news desk. We are coming to you from the mass media complex in Lusaka. This is Zanis News, the top stories. Vice President Mutalina Lumango expected in Cote d'Ivoire. COMESA energy regulators hold dialogue on module solar standards. Plus, adaptive leadership strategy on HIV launched in Kalulushi. My name is Amos Zulu. Vice President Mutalina Lumango is expected in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire on December 7, 2022 to attend the African Union high-level meeting aimed at sharing experiences and way forward in addressing issues of nutrition on the continent. Office of the Vice President, Permanent Secretary for Administration, Lydian Kapusana, said Mrs. Nalumango is expected to, among other issues, reaffirm the commitments made by President Hakainde Hichilema on ensuring food security in the country. Now, Southern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Yolanta Mutyambe is concerned with the high number of young people involved in cutting down of trees as a livelihood. Ms. Mutyambe has since called on Kafukatila Climate Change Initiative, a key stakeholder in promoting sustainable forestry management, to train more young people on environmental protection. Here are the details.
Building a future generation with mindset trained in sustainable management of the environment and its natural resources remains key in combating the global challenge of climate change. And the Kafukatila Climate Change Initiative, a non-government organization, has partnered with the Forestry Department and the Ministry of Education in training learners in sustainable management of natural resources.
So ours is to create an opportunity, an environment or a situation where these learners, they are fully educated. They are fully equipped with information that pertains to climate change.
Every school should have an orchard that they can use to have some fruits, to improve nutrition, also to learn how to bud, how to graft.
As staff for Kaumba Secondary School and pupils, we are ready to take up the challenge, such that I can assure you to say, come next year, this time around, when you come, the environment will be different, because we want to take it wholeheartedly and do the best to make sure Kaumba Secondary School is a green school.
For Southern Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Yolanta Mutyambe, coordinated efforts among key stakeholders remain key in actualizing government desire of a clean and green economy.
To commend the KCCI for partnering with government on this important discourse. The intentions of the KCCI to equip the learners with knowledge and skills used.
I always insist, but resist any cruelty against nature as it is affecting our future.
Gift Banji, reporting for Zanis News in Monze District, Southern Province.
The Mbunda Royal Establishment in Nimulunga District has commended government for being proactive in enhancing development through the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, in Luwena constituency. The traditional leadership disclosed this when government handed over a 1x2 classroom block at Nangoko Primary School in the area. Stella Goma has the rest of the story.
This is Nangoko Primary School in Nimulunga District of Western Province. It was established in 1931. However, it has not had a new structure since 1980. The records have changed today because government is handing over a 1x2 classroom block erected through the 2021 Constituency Development Fund, CDF. This uncommon development has brought unprecedented joy to the community. The classroom handover ceremony was graced by senior government officials and Mwenechengere Kashengula Nyumbu.
Yemimu neiferanga felange vaive fakuliki ongoing program was a fairly nikashe kule yemimu isali Farmer Foundation chale hanu twamali amangata ngata afita fo apundiwa kulimani akona kukalamu sevezi matu months ni kufeza ipeto na abuza kuzo kuli chale mibuso yemimu mali yani vaisakani lolo kupakuli mubuso isikwa kutila mamulaho uzwele pili kuelekisa mali.
The Department of Education has said this development will promote access to quality education.
Introduction of the free education policy by the new Dawn government from ECE all the way to grade 12. There has been therefore a lot of demand on classroom space. The learners will now have a sufficient space in which to learn from. This is also going to ensure that probably the number of sessions that the school had because of limitations of classroom space shall equally be reduced so that teachers have adequate time that they can use to plan for their lessons.
And government has reiterated its commitment to meet the demands that promote delivery of quality education.
Now it's surrounded by a growing community in the Mulunga district, and therefore there was need to urgently respond to the cries of the people here for a conducive learning environment for our children. The school authorities, together with the community, have gone further to request that government considers the possibility of upgrading this school to a secondary school. And working together, my district commissioner, the DC is next to me here, we will pull all our mighty to ensure that the requests of the people of Nangoko, which are nothing but developmental in nature, are attended to with the urgency that they deserve.
It will be very easy for the people to vote back UPND because of what it's doing. Everything is visible and clear. We have developments. The country has turned into just one giant project everywhere you go.
It is now the duty of the school and pupils to be good stewards of the structure so that it is sustained. Mwene Chengele also planted a tree to mark a new beginning. Stella Goma reporting for Zanis in Mulunga, Western Province.
We now move to the energy sector, where stakeholders from various energy regulation bodies from the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA region are currently meeting in Lusaka for a stakeholders validation workshop on the formulation of COMESA model solar standards and common tariff framework for solar products. Michelle Luwinda filed in this report.
With the continued effects of climate change, member states in the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA region have been urged to address the infrastructure, policy and regulatory gaps that are existing in the management of the energy mix. COMESA is currently implementing a $425 million United States World Bank funding aimed at facilitating an enabling environment and providing credit financing for infrastructure investment in the energy sector through the Infrastructure Finance Facility RIF project. To effectively implement the project, member states from COMESA and Trade and Development Bank are meeting in Lusaka for a validation of documents targeted at supporting the advancement of the sector.
COMESA recognized the huge gap that currently exists in terms of infrastructure and the policy, regulatory and capacity improvement that are required in the member state to ensure an attainment of various development goals articulated at national, regional, continental and global levels. We therefore stand ready to support our member states towards the achievement of their goals and aspirations.
Zambia's Ministry of Energy describes the project as a positive step towards improving infrastructure to support renewable energy.
It is an acknowledged fact that the need for African governments to meet the social needs of the people has resulted in a huge financial burden, which makes it difficult to adequately invest in the infrastructure projects. Therefore, efforts like the Regional Infrastructure Financing Facility project are complementary to what governments are doing and are needed to ensure that the aspirations to have access to quality infrastructure are met. In trying to create a conducive environment for the private investment and making available finances for projects, I noticed that the Regional Infrastructure Finance Facility project is indeed contributing towards lessening the burden on government.
The 3-day validation workshop is expected to review the solar energy standards, COMESA model common customs tariff framework for solar products, and the COMESA model on the energy policy. Michelo Lubinda for Zanis in Lusaka.
The Adaptive Leadership Strategy on HIV, a project designed to address the increasing HIV infection rates in adolescents, has been launched in Kalulushi. District Commissioner Kelly Jibinga says Kalulushi is among 23 districts identified by the Ministry of Health and its cooperating partners to benefit from the project.
They gathered in this manner to deliberate on the increasing number of HIV infections among adolescents in Kalulushi. Kalulushi is among the 23 districts to benefit from the Adaptive Leadership Strategy on HIV, a project designed to address the increasing HIV infection rates in adolescents. This is because the HIV infection rates among adolescents 15 to 19 in Kalulushi are rising sharply.
Even monitor, and because of adaptive leadership not being a clear way of how to look at problems and solutions, we call it's an iterative process where you need to go to and fro to understand what is going on and provide solutions as you are going on. As you are implementing, you are also providing other solutions.
I am a traffic driver. Ngakwali koso simu yakwe bati. Ndi yakuba ma congestion ilimbya kuboda na nguma paki track. Babi kamwa ma polisi. Yakwe bati ngabamona vyo mugeo zyangira mulya. Baya mwingisha mu sales. Ukulele bukatashani bukachekana.
Various stakeholders converged at the Omolo Pleasure Resort for a training workshop on the implementation of the project.
As a follow-up visit from the Adaptive Leadership team who came to conduct a diagnostic activity this month, with support from Global Fund, the team has now come to conduct the launch of the Adaptive Leadership work in our district. We were privileged to have a team that came to get or to gather information, and I was privileged to interact with them. So even as we are meeting here, I'm not so much lost because there was brief information that was given to the office. The Ministry of Health as adaptive leadership enshrined in the National Adolescent Health Strategy, which runs from 2022 to 2026.
Authorities in Kalulushi are eager to see the infection rates among adolescents reduced. Waleka Papla for Zanis in Kalulushi.
The number of beneficiaries on social cash transfer program in Mwansawambwe district has been increased by 601. This follows the approval by the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services to add new beneficiaries on the program. More in the following report.
Over 600 vulnerable people in Mwansawambwe district have been included on the current list of social cash transfer beneficiaries. The Department of Social Welfare has since conducted the community validation exercise for the new entrants.
The total number of beneficiaries in Mwansawambwe is 7,805. We are now conducting community validation, and today we are concluding it.
Acting District Social Welfare Officer Edmond Kampape, however, informed the new entrants to wait patiently until their names are found on the payment list.
Ngaya mashina yenu tayeshile ninjukuza tampo kupoka mu 2023 mu February pantu chilaposa kwenshi inshita pakutila ati ulupia tambeshani ukwisa kanshi ifwe nga tuapwisha fefi tuinakaili no kubwekisha mukutati awabantu alitashani tualiva sanga
shinda lama tukalashi mshira munshi tukalabula no kupanga ku business yakanono wako ndefu ayapa munshi na kusungila mo abana nabeshikuru
ndeto tela ubuteko bwa UPND nabakateka ba akayinde ichile
fwe bana kulu ekyole sale tangira kayinde mukuteka kwakwe echo Jehova leso ushalubire utungulula muri fyonsera cyose tungulu chibombera pabalanda ndestambika kuri Kristo.
Lewis Changwe, Zanis, Mwansawambwe.
In our agriculture news, over 1,000 vulnerable but viable farmers in Solwezi district are expected to benefit from the Food Security Park program under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. District Assistant Community Development Officer Dala Chivawe says the district has received over 2,000 by 50 kilogram bags of D-compound, which is a complete set. Chaibu Ngoma now reports.
Government has continued empowering vulnerable but viable farmers with farming inputs. Noah Maseka is a 20-year-old Solwezi youth who has benefited from the Food Security Park under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services.
And to the current president, we really appreciate it. Yeah, because this is an empowerment for me. So, like for me myself, so at the age of 20, man, this is a huge empowerment. I really appreciate it.
Pano ponjine mukamfuirwa kaimbele kusunga bana banshiwa pano pakumana fertilizer mwane na asante kya kine.
District Commissioner Tredson Mulofa warns the beneficiaries against selling the imports.
I caution to you the beneficiaries, the farmers, these things were being given today. It is not for you just from here. You take them and put them on the market. No, the law is going to catch you.
Dala Chivawe, Assistant Community Development Officer, explains how the distribution will be done.
We want to ensure that these inputs are delivered to the closest point of collection. If you look at our clients, some of them are old, some of them are ill, others are disabled. So we want to deliver the inputs almost to their doorsteps so that they can easily access these inputs with less challenges.
For Zanis News, I am Chebun Koman, Solwezi District, Northwestern Province.
In a related development, farmers under the Farmer Input Support Program FISP in Chinsali District have started redeeming farming inputs for the 2022-2023 farming season. The district has so far received 504 metric tons of D-compound, 99 metric tons of urea fertilizer, and over 66 metric tons of maize seeds, among others.
They have started redeeming their farming inputs for this farming season. A check at various sheds in Chinsali District in Mchinga Province found farmers collecting their inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program FISP. Some farmers talked to are happy with the distribution exercise so far.
Government has worked. We are really thankful because we were not expectant of this.
We have received 6 bags of fertilizer, 3 base oil, and 3 top. We are just meaning to go and get our seeds.
I'm grateful to government for this system, which is easier and accessible.
Chinsali District Commissioner Samson Muchemwa is equally elated with the process.
So we started with yesterday with Chunga, Chirunda, Itapa, coming to Milemba, where we see we will have difficulties if it rains.
And Chinsali District Agriculture Coordinator Francis Simbati says the distribution process is running smoothly.
We've received 504 metric tons of D-compound and 99 metric tons of urea, 66.83 metric tons of maize seed, 77.325 of soybeans, as well as 31 metric tons of groundnuts.
Farming inputs for the 2022-2023 farming season is underway and progressing well in most of the districts in Mchinga Province. Miriam Kwenda reporting for Zanis in Chinsali, Mchinga Province.
We end the news on a sporting note. Kabwe Warriors Football Club player Akakulubela Mwachiaba has called on victims of gender-based violence, GBV, to immediately report cases to the nearest police station for quick action. And Central Province Community Services Department Coordinator Jefferson Mobita says engaging the community is key in helping reduce cases of gender-based violence. Details in this report.
As the country observes the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence,
The Zambia Police in Kabwe is engaging stakeholders in order to increase awareness on the effects of gender-based violence. This time around, Godfrey Yukachitalu Stadium has been turned into an information center on GBV.
So psychological abuse, to realize that what we are doing is we are really committing a psychological abuse offense. One, if you show up. What if you show up? Ukushoba. Unyoza, manyozo. Use of insulting language is an offense.
Threatening violence, but when it happens outside and it's affecting the way one reasons, whether in the domestic setup or even as players, because we are a family, just likely the ways that we use.
Officers from the Victim Support Unit of the Zambia Police now share information on the forms of GBV with Cabo Warriors players.
So it's something that is not good. So it can lead into divorces. It can bring about retardation in terms of development because you are ridiculed. You have a skill to play good football. You have a skill to be in the first team because ilionse wakunyoza banzako, wakushoba banzako. Uzasipeza ukatucha potential yako ionekere ukumukaja mawezo wa makamba wanani wa sport wangoke naye.
Rape, having sex or carnal knowledge of a woman without her consent. Or with her consent, if that consent is gained through intimidation, threats. They said when a woman says no, she means no. So don't force yourself on a woman.
Akakulubero Machiava, fondly known as Aka, called on victims of GBV to promptly report cases of the vice to the police.
And I would like to set an awareness out there that whoever is facing any sort of physical abuse, any sort of sexual abuse, don't feel shy to report. Go to your nearest police station, they'll help you from there. Together we can fight this and we can stop GBV. Thank you.
And Central Province Victim Support Unit Coordinator Jefferson Mubita says engaging the community is key in helping reduce cases of gender-based violence.
We want to tell you that just as the big man has preempted, the police does not only arrest. Community services is community policing, where we engage with the community to work together. Let's be policemen as you people, man, as you know, the public. So
Kelvin Tembo for Zanis in Kabwe District, Central Province.
We end the news just there, but before we go, the headlines again. Vice President Mutalina Lumango expected in Cote d'Ivoire. COMESA energy regulators hold dialogue on module solar standards. Plus, adaptive leadership strategy on HIV launched in Kalulushi. You can access these and many other stories on our website, zanis.com.zm. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is Amos Zulu. Bye for now.